Hello, and welcome back to the Follow Your Spark podcast. It's your host, Gina Casbarro, and I'm coming on today for a solo episode about a topic that I feel like is really important right now. Today, we're going to be diving into all kinds of habits, practices, and rituals that will help you sustain your spark during challenging times, and really any time. And I know right now, this moment in time in history, at least in the US, if not probably all over the world, can feel intense in a lot of ways. And we're also in the middle of winter. Where I live in the world, we're navigating crazy snowstorms and ice and all different things. There's so many things that may be going on outside in the external world and external context, as well as anything that you might be navigating in your personal life. So today, I really want to talk about what can help you sustain your spark so that you have as much vital energy as possible to face everything in your life, every challenge in your life, every goal that you're trying to work towards, feeling as good as possible, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Because I really believe that when we do that, we're giving ourselves the best shot possible, the best boost possible to face and navigate and create in the ways that we really want to show up for ourselves and each other in this life. So, if you are craving support, inspiration, guidance about how to do that, stick around. This conversation is going to be really powerful and it goes so far beyond, just like take a bath if you feel like you need it, even though that can be a powerful practice. Okay, so first I want to start out with a why. Because anytime that you're trying to develop a new habit, you're wanting to do something differently for yourself, you're wanting to change a routine, if there's not a clear why that's compelling you, it can be very hard to start something new, to do something different because we're so used to routine. Our brain loves the default, it loves what's easy, it loves what's practiced. So anytime you want to do something differently in any capacity, big or small, it's so important to connect to why that matters. So in the work that I do with my clients, one of the things I do with them is something I call a feng shui identity audit. And when we do this identity audit, it's about tuning into what's really important to you in your life right now. If there was a big goal or intention or next level for yourself, what is that? Is there a big goal that you have in your career? Is there a way that you want to show up differently for yourself and your community? Is there a next level of health you want to embody? What is really fueling you and lighting you up right now? What really matters? And really connecting to that vision of yourself, that next level of yourself that you want to step into, and beginning to get to know that person. What does that person think about? What is that person feeling on a daily basis? What kinds of people is that person surrounding themselves with? What kind of conversations are they having? And also, what are their habits and practices that feel important and valuable? And when you start to imagine and connect to this person, you might realize, wow, that person really prioritizes their health. They really are intentional with the food that they're eating, or they are really prioritizing mental health and wellness, and they meditate and they walk and they do all these things. And maybe you don't know exactly what that person does yet. And you're beginning to feel into that person and what would support that person to have the energy that they want to have to create what they want to create in this life. So for me, step one is really about tuning into that desire of who you want to be, what you want to create in this world, and then beginning to explore, okay, what could help me do that? And like I said, for me, this is why the foundational part of my 5-step process is all about sustaining your spark, because it matters so much. The energy from which you come from, whether you're exhausted and depleted or revitalized and grounded and energized, that's going to result in completely different actions that you feel like you have the capacity to take. So, the first step is really exploring what is that next level version of you like? What do they aim to create in this world? And how do they take care of themselves? And I'm going to share today some of my favorite practices or ways to think about navigating challenging emotions as well as cultivating positive, high vibrational energy that could fuel us. And this is a huge thing I work on with clients as well, because so many of us were not taught how to process emotions, how to be with emotions, how to embrace emotions. So for me, a lot of sustaining your spark is how you navigate emotions. So I'm going to start with one that might feel big right now for a lot of people. I know many people who are experiencing a lot of grief. And this can be a really heavy feeling emotion that can feel like you might drown in it or it just feels really intense. And when it comes to all emotions, especially the uncomfortable ones, I believe the first step in being able to navigate those feelings with more ease is being willing to accept that you're experiencing it. So often people judge themselves for having emotions in the first place, and they might feel unpleasant and uncomfortable and like you don't want to have them and you don't have the capacity to feel them. So you're just frantically trying to figure out, how can I get rid of this emotion as quickly as possible? Versus when you accept that this is what you're feeling in this moment, that's when the emotion doesn't have as much of a hold on you as it does if we resist it. So, for any emotion, step one is bringing in acceptance, inviting in acceptance and compassion for yourself in that moment and knowing, okay, I'm experiencing this feeling and being able to even name it. I'm experiencing grief right now. I'm experiencing sadness right now. I think I shared this on a different podcast, but I heard once this phrase that instead of saying, I am sad, saying, sadness is upon me. I am experiencing sadness right now. I am the container that is feeling sadness, that is feeling grief. I am not grief. I am feeling and experiencing this emotion. And for me, with grief, when it feels too much for me to hold, one of my favorite practices is going out in nature and feeling the support of nature, putting my back against a tree and just sobbing and curling up at the foot of a tree, at the roots of a tree. To me, there is almost nothing that feels more supportive than that. And being able to literally hug a tree and really connect with that energy and know that there is nothing too much that the earth can't hold, that the earth can't help you transform and transmute and release and let go of. So if you're experiencing big emotions of grief, experiment with that if you feel called. Find a tree, or if you're lucky enough to live by the ocean and it's warm enough right now that you can swim, that for me has definitely been another huge practice of just being able to cry, crying in the ocean, and again, letting those waves, that water wash over you and clear and cleanse you. And no matter where in the world you are, no matter what season it is, there's a part of nature that you can go and find and be with and ask for the support of Mother Earth to help hold you and process those feelings. Another really supportive practice that I've experienced is something called Tonglen meditation. This is a Buddhist meditation practice that's all about being willing to feel, being willing to feel on behalf of yourself and being willing to feel on behalf of others. So the way this works, and I'm going to put a link in the show notes. I recorded a Tonglen meditation and put it on my YouTube. So if you want to experiment and explore this practice for yourself, you can check it out there. And the way this practice works, well, first let me tell you one instance last week when I used this practice. So I'm in Baltimore. There's been a crazy snowstorm here. There's like ice and snow everywhere. It's really like nothing I've seen in the 12 years that I've lived here. And it's brought up lots of feelings, frustration, feeling cooped up, all these things. And I was also super sick for like a week. So one day last week, when I was finally feeling well enough to go outside, when my driveway was cleared of all the snow and I was capable of moving my car, I was like, okay, I'm going to go to a dance class and it's going to feel so good to move my body and be out in the world and connect with people. And I was so looking forward to it. And when I got in my car and turned the keys in the ignition, the car wouldn't start. And I was just so disappointed and frustrated. And it took me a little bit to accept that this was the reality and I was not going to dance that day. And I was like trying to figure out what to do and call AAA and this and that, whatever. So finally, when I had accepted my circumstances, I went upstairs and I was like, what am I going to do now? And first, I noticed I'm feeling these feelings of frustration, disappointment. And there's one part of my brain that's telling me, this doesn't matter. There's so many people out in the world right now who are facing such bigger problems than this. Like, this is stupid that you're even feeling these feelings in the first place. Like, get it together. And being able to catch that and witness, like, the body feels what it feels. It doesn't care about logic or explanations of why it should or shouldn't be feeling any kind of way. So being able to, in that moment, have compassion for myself, again, invite in honesty of, how am I feeling right now? Okay, I'm feeling disappointed. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling sad. And can I give myself first the acceptance of, this is my current experience, this is what I'm feeling. And I noticed myself wanting to, okay, who can I call? What can I do? I should do my own dance practice, like searching for something to alleviate the feelings. And again, I was able to catch that and see, okay, can I just be with what is right now? Can I just be with what is? And I was able to take a couple deep breaths, feel those feelings, allow myself to be there in that moment. And once I let those feelings run through me, the idea popped into my mind to do this Tonglen meditation. So, what this is about is, if there's ever a moment where I'm feeling really intense emotions, especially if I feel very resistant to those emotions that I might not want to be feeling, this meditation is all about being willing to feel them myself. So, as I'm breathing in, I'm imagining I'm breathing in disappointment, and I'm breathing out acceptance. And with every breath, noticing as I'm breathing in, what is the emotion I'm feeling? I'm feeling sadness, I'm feeling frustration, I'm feeling disappointment. And then what is the emotion I want to breathe out? I want to breathe out for myself, whether that's acceptance, peace, compassion, love. And then the next level is imagining all of the other people around you, in your city, in your community, in your world, that might be experiencing what you're experiencing. How many other people in this very moment might be experiencing frustration, disappointment, grief, sadness, and being willing to breathe that in and experience it, and then breathe out what you wish for them. Breathing out acceptance, breathing out compassion, breathing out love, breathing out peace, and imagining all of those people, wishing all of those things for all of those people. And when I do this meditation, so often I think it's easier to do kind things for other people sometimes than it is to do the same things for ourselves, or think positive things for other people versus thinking positive things for ourselves. So this practice for me brings in a softening and a willingness to be able to feel my feelings when I remember, wow, I'm sure there's so many other people who are feeling this right now. And when I think about them, I can have compassion for them, and I can have a love for them, and I can send them those feelings of compassion and love. And that also helps me feel them for myself, because I wouldn't judge someone else for feeling frustrated or disappointed or grief at the exact same situation that happened to me. Their car broke down, they wanted to go somewhere. I would, be kind to them. I would think loving thoughts. I would say loving things to them. So, being able to imagine all of those other people and how you might want to treat them and what you might wish for them, oftentimes for me, like I said, helps me wish those same things for myself and have that same level of compassion and kindness for myself. So, like I said, if you want to explore that meditation, I'll put a link in the show notes to my YouTube, and I'm sure you can search on YouTube Tonglen meditation and likely find many others. And this is a practice I turn to when I'm feeling any kind of intense emotions that I might not otherwise have wanted to feel, whether that's grief, disappointment, frustration. This is also one of my go to practices if I'm in bed at night and spinning in any kinds of feelings of anxiety or anything else. I come back to this practice and it leaves me feeling like I'm doing something positive, not only for myself, I am breathing out those vibrations and emanating that energy for the world and for my community. And I know people might think this is like woo or potentially spiritually bypassing or feeling like these practices don't matter. And there's so much research that goes into when we're feeling angry, when we're feeling resentful, when we're feeling hateful, the amount of strength and vitality in our body physically goes down. Our mental clarity goes down. So, if we want to show up the strongest as possible for ourselves, for the people around us, both with physical energy, with mental capacity and clarity, with emotional energy and vitality and willingness to get out there and do something about anything for ourselves or other people, cultivating these higher vibrational emotions, as well as allowing yourself to feel the full range of all these other emotions without judgment, it helps. It matters. It makes a difference for the energy you have to pour into all of the other things in your life. So, none of this is about pretending that challenging emotions don't exist or that you shouldn't have them or you should ignore them. It's about inviting an acceptance and finding ways that you can feel and allow the full range of the human emotion spectrum and to navigate that with as much ease and compassion and grace as possible, knowing that this is a part of life. We're always going to experience all of these things. And the more capacity we have to feel them, the more capacity we're going to have for everything else that matters in our life. Okay, so I talked a little bit about grief, disappointment, frustration. Now I want to talk about what can help clear stuck energy. And again, when I think of stuck energy, I think of anything that we're resisting, anytime we're avoiding something, anytime we're bypassing something within ourselves and avoiding feeling it. That, I believe, leads to stuck energy because our body felt something. And when we try to resist it, when we try to avoid it and shove it down, it's like packing something down tight and it becomes dense versus being able to have clearer energy when we allow things to move through us. It's like a dirty river that becomes full of algae because it's stagnant. It's not moving. The water is not clearing. Versus when a river is flowing, that water is going to be much clearer because it doesn't have that buildup of energy, of matter. So being able to clear energy makes a huge difference. And for me, this is also going so far beyond the mind. Oftentimes we want to understand everything. We want to be able to process everything. And while the mind is powerful, I believe it can be helpful. I believe it can help us discover insights and understand ourselves on a deeper level. I also believe in being able to work with the body and not needing to understand every single thing about everything. So when I think about clearing stuck energy, moving the body in whatever capacity, I find incredibly valuable. And for me, dance is a huge way to do that. And anything could be going for walks, swimming, kickboxing, whatever it is. And what I have discovered is that for me, the more I let my body move freely, the more it shows me what I need. So you could experiment even with putting a playlist on, and you could start by laying down and just let your body move however it wants to. This isn't about doing a particular move. You might shake your right arm for 5 minutes, and that's just like what needed to happen. Our bodies are so wise. They are so intelligent, and we don't need to know. We don't need to be like, okay, I'm going to do this exact yoga routine, and that's going to be the thing I do today. I mean, you can, absolutely. And I really invite you to explore and experiment with letting your body move however it needs to, even shaking. There's so many Qigong practices that involve shaking because it helps clear up stuck and stagnant energy. So that can be a place to even start shaking your hands, shaking your feet. It literally shakes out energy. And I'm going to put in the show notes as well a link to one of my favorite playlists right now. I make tons of playlists on my Spotify all the time for Sparkle Space, the energy dance that I lead. So if you follow me on Spotify, you can always search through my playlists if you want inspiration or music to support your movement practice. So free dance, like I said, free movement for me is huge. I also am a huge fan of Qigong. Some of my favorite practitioners are Lee Holden and Yochi on YouTube, and they have introduction videos that are really great. But Qigong is again a process to tune into this vital life force energy and to be able to cultivate a strength in that energy, to be able to clear blocks in your energy so that you can feel as vital as possible. So those are some movement practices, body-based practices, embodiment practices that really support me to clear stuck energy. And cleaning your house can be an incredibly powerful way to clear energy as well, both physical dirt, grime, as well as the energetics of it. So being able to clear clutter, clear dirt, all of these things are really powerful tools to clear energy. So don't underestimate the power of simply picking one thing, whether you feel called to like clean the top of your stove, or you feel called to, I don't know, deep clean your bathtub, whatever it is, doing something for even 10 or 15 minutes with the intention of, may I clean and clear my space right now, can be incredibly beneficial. And this is really powerful also to tie to what really matters to you. So if health really matters to you, deep cleaning your fridge, if self-care really matters to you and self-love really matters to you, maybe you pick something in your bathroom. If relationships really matter to you, maybe you pick something in your bedroom or living room to clean and clear. It's all about the intention you infuse into anything that you do. And yes, it will be powerful even if you clean by itself. It's next level if you imagine as you're cleaning, may I release anything that's stuck in this area of my life? May I release anything that's not serving me? May I let go of anything that's not supporting me right now? And be able to say that intention to yourself as you're cleaning and clearing your space. The next thing I want to talk about is something I think of as like daily maintenance. What are the practices and rituals that are going to support me on a daily basis to help me feel as clear, as energized as possible? One of my favorite things to do is something called morning pages. And this is a tool and practice from Julia Cameron's book, The Artist Way, that's all about decluttering your mind, essentially, by writing 3 stream of consciousness pages every single morning. These don't have to be about anything. They could be your to-do list. They could be the dream that you had last night. They could be, I don't know what to write, written down for 3 pages. It really doesn't matter. It's just about the act of getting anything out in your mind that might want to spill out onto paper. You don't ever have to look at these again. You don't ever have to read them again. I just recycle them every couple months, these journals that I have. So this is a really powerful practice to, again, start your day with a clear mind and feel like you're flushing out your thoughts. So I really love morning pages as a tool for that. Another thing that has been incredibly helpful for me and gets a little more challenging in the winter months is to be able to go outside first thing in the morning and let the morning light into your eyes, onto your skin, feeling that energy of the sun. Again, clear, cleanse you, wake you up. It's actually really nice if it is cold, if I do go outside, because it's so refreshing. Cold water in general, that's why people take cold baths and cold plunges, because again, it has an impact on our physical system. There's all kinds of science, immersing yourself in the cold does, and it can have really powerful benefits. So even if it is cold, going outside in the morning and letting the sunlight hit you is another really powerful energy booster to break up sluggishness, to wake you up, to refresh you, to give you that like zest and boost. If you've ever seen an animal sometimes in the cold, like perk up. I used to ride horses, and anytime it was cold, they would all feel very like energized and frisky. There's something that happens, I believe, when we step out into that energy, or can happen if we step out into that temperature and the sunlight and all of those things. So doing simple practices like this, journal pages that could take 10, 15 minutes, going outside first thing when you wake up and getting sunshine on your face. These are incredibly simple practices that can have profound impacts and benefits on all of the things: emotional, mental, physical, health, and again, boost our energy. So those are two really powerful daily maintenance type of practices. There's all different kinds of things: meditation, exercise that you can be doing in the morning. And as I'm talking through this as well, I have a tool that is a workbook about the top 15 transformational tools like this that you can explore. There's links to all of these things. My favorite Qigong practitioners, meditations I love, everything else that I've been talking about is in this document, as well as reflection questions to help you discover what are the practices that you've explored in your life that really make a difference for you. Because maybe you've tried or enjoyed some of the things I've shared, maybe you have other ones. So being able to ask yourself these questions and discover what tools are already in your toolbox, what tools have you been called to or wanting to explore, so that you can hone in on what is speaking to you right now, what you think would be beneficial to you right now. So you can get that at ginacasbarro.com/transformational tools to get access to all of these things. So all the links, everything is there. The workbook is there for you to explore these things for yourself. The other things that really help me with clearing my mind that I do on a daily basis are things like taking walks. So being able to, like, if I'm feeling confused, if I'm feeling frustrated, if I'm trying to get an idea about something or connect to inspiration about something and I'm struggling, trying to force everything with my logical mind, I will go for a walk. And that action of being in physical motion, again, helps the creative juices flow. It helps you get out of trying to force it with your mind and be open to the ideas that are already there. So things like going for a walk. For me, also taking a shower really intentionally. Like if I need to write an email and I'm struggling to write that email, I'll sometimes take my phone in the shower and voice memo that email in the shower. Because again, as you're doing something else, as you're driving, as you're taking a shower, as you're shoveling snow, your body is just in motion, or letting something like water wash over you and clear and cleanse you. And it can open up mental capacity. It can open up inspiration, especially if you intend for it to. So like I said, I will take my phone in the shower or in the bathroom and invite in, may I be open to receive intuitive guidance right now? May I be open to receive ideas and clarity and inspiration? And making that declaration, setting that intention can help me receive those ideas, and telling myself things like, I am full of ideas. Inspiration is right there waiting for me. Being able to notice the thoughts that you're thinking and choose them intentionally can be a tremendous support to be open to receive what it is that you want to receive. And when it comes to opening up to inspiration, getting ideas about something, another all-time favorite practice for me is something called an artist date. So this is again a practice from Julia Cameron in her book, The Artist Way. And it's about taking yourself on a date, going anywhere, whether it's a bookstore or something that inspires your creativity, a cooking class, or watching a documentary about a subject or topic that's calling to you. And again, inviting in and setting the intention, may I be open to receive breadcrumbs? May I be open to receive inspiration about what's next? And you do this activity solo, by yourself, and just see what happens. And see if you get ideas about something and be willing to give yourself permission and space to follow those nudges, follow those sparks, whatever they are. So that's another one of my all-time favorite tools for receiving inspiration and intuitive guidance. And I could go on and on and on. There are so many tools and practices you can explore. And my intention for sharing these with you today was to give you some ideas. And maybe you've heard me talk about this in the past, and you don't have to go out and try every single one of these things. I think what's also important is to ask yourself, what do I feel like I really need right now? I really have been called to meditation. I've really been called to more movement practices. I've really been called to declutter and clean my house. Whatever it is, being able to choose one thing. What's one thing this week that you want to experiment with or explore and put into practice and see what happens? And again, remembering why you want to do this in the first place. Why does it matter to take care of yourself? Why does it matter to prioritize your mental, physical, emotional health? What are these intentions that you have for yourself and your life and your community and this planet that matter to you so deeply that it feels important to tend to yourself, to care for yourself in the best way that you can so that you have as much energy as possible to pour into all of these things that matter to you. And I talked about all of these practices are very individual practices. And another thing that I've been reminding myself in this moment too of being able to lean into community and connection and remember that I'm not alone and that it's safe to support and be supported by the people in my life. And that when we are strong within ourselves and when we can tend to our own emotions, when we're willing to feel all these things, that's when I believe we're more equipped to be able to engage and interact with other people in a healthy, supportive way when we're also tending to ourselves and not needing someone else to do the work for us or to hold things that we're not willing to hold. So it's this beautiful dance. I believe in the value of taking care of yourself as well as the gift that community can be and friendship can be, and leaning into the people in your life and pouring love into them and allowing them to pour love into you, and remembering that we're not alone or we don't have to be in this life. And like I said at the beginning of this conversation, I know things can feel heavy and intense right now. And we just had a Sparkle Space dance yesterday, and so many people were talking about their experience of what they're feeling right now, both personally as well as the impact of what's going on in the world is having on them, and how they've been fueled and nourished by also finding joy in the simple things. Things like drinking a cup of hot chocolate with a friend after a rally and being able to taste the deliciousness of that and appreciate that moment too. Or things like take a bath. Like I said, that can be a beautiful practice as well. And just feeling the hot water on your skin, pouring Epsom salts and lavender into that bathtub and allowing yourself to smell them and be present in this moment. It's like, again, when we can bring our energy and attention back to right now, back to this moment, and find evidence of right now, I'm safe. Right now, I'm tended to, I'm cared for. I have a roof over my head, whatever it is for you that you can remind yourself of or bring attention to that can fuel positive emotions like joy, gratitude, love, compassion, because they both matter. And especially in challenging times, I believe cultivating those powerful, positive emotions can be incredible fuel. I believe that's also why you see people dancing out in the streets at rallies and doing things that lift their energy and lift the vibration, because we need that. We need fuel. We need love. We need joy in order to keep going. So, this is really all about, like I said, being willing to feel the challenging emotions, as well as being willing to cultivate the ones that nourish you and fuel you and fill you up. So I hope this conversation today sparked something in you, sparked inspiration, sparked an idea, sparked something that is nudging you to try one of these practices for yourself, or remember the tools that are already in your toolbox. And like I said, this is such a foundational piece of the work that I do. In Own Your Becoming, my 6-month coaching program, sustaining your spark is the huge foundation of everything to really see what is supporting your mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. And the feng shui audit, like I said, is another way that we do that in your space, in your environment, in your internal world, as well as your external world. So if you want support with this, if you want to take this work deeper and really connect to who is that next level version of you, what do they desire, what are the habits, practices, thoughts, beliefs, house that would help you embody and step into that person, that's what this program is about. So you can get all the details, learn more about it at ginacasbarro.com/own your becoming. Part of it are these monthly spark sessions. We had our first one at the end of January that was all about looking back on 2025 and really celebrating your life, everything that you learned, the whole journey that you went on last year that contributed to your growth, all of the highs and lows, celebrating that. And then we also created this beautiful nature mandala to honor yourself in this moment. We're in this very liminal time right now. We have the lunar New Year and a solar eclipse coming up on February 17th. That is going to be this portal that propels us into what's next. And I believe this is a really powerful time to work with these things intentionally, to be asking yourself, who do I want to be on the other side of this? What is that version of myself I want to step into? So, January for me in the Spark session was all about embracing the now, embracing this liminal time of in between, celebrating who you are exactly as you are right here, right now. And in February, when we come together for the next group Spark session, it's going to be all about envisioning what's next and connecting to that next level version of you. Who are they? How do they think? What do they believe? What goals and intentions do they hold in their heart? What habits and practices support them so that you can step into that person every single day moving forward? So, this is an incredibly powerful time to join this container. It includes all kinds of things: one-on-one coaching, group coaching, like I said, the feng shui, identity audit, so many beautiful things. And you can get all the details at ginacasbarro.com/own your becoming. And if you want to talk about it, explore if this program is right for you, you can book a free clarity call and we can explore it together. All right, my friend, I am wishing you so much love on your journey, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're experiencing right now. Remember that you matter. Your energy matters. How you care for yourself matters. And I hope you are holding yourself in so much love right now. All right, wishing you the best, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.